Hi, everybody. Welcome to America's Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Desma, and welcome to today's show. It has been a very weird one, man. Only because of exactly what's been happening in the news. Of course, we all started hearing it since yesterday, right? But before we get going, go ahead and catch us live on Spreaker. We're live right now on the audio podcast as well. Thank you for joining America's Podcast. I'm sorry. I have another podcast about aliens, but it's okay. We'll get into that later. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for watching us here. We are actually on iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those other ones on audio. We had just started this brand new platform here on Rumble, Twitch, and actually YouTube. We're live right now. All right, but thank you guys for watching right now. People that are out there that are listening around the world, thank you for listening in your vehicles. Be safe when you're on the road. There's been just a lot of changes, a lot of things have been happening in our world, in our society today that just drives people crazy, right? And how do we get that straightened out? It's almost like, I don't know. We always have to work together, all together as a team. That it's a great team effort as far as us as American citizens and how we bring everything together as one, right? And so how do we do it? How do we do it, man? We can, like I always say in these podcasts, we can agree to disagree, shake hands, and walk away, right? That's what it's about. We can all do that. And as far as what happened yesterday, I want to get into this because it is very important on what actually happened out there. And but before we get into that, on America's Podcast, I always love to thank our America's veterans, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, the National Guard, even Space Force. Thank you guys out there for protecting this country and just keep everybody safe. I thank you for your service and everything that you do and your sacrifices here in America's Podcast. That's what we're about, all right? Thank you guys for that. I appreciate you, every single one of you guys in the military that are listening today or watching or out there just being safe, man. Now, as far as what happened yesterday, of course, everybody's been getting it in the news about, the second attempt that just happened. Now, here on America's Podcast, we're unbiased, right? So we want to hear what's going on both sides, right? It's not just one-sided. We want to hear what's going on both sides, but that's not what it's about today. Today's more about why, right? Why these things happen to candidates, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be happening at all to anyone, really, in reality. And how do we fix that? I don't know if you guys are the people that watch football, and this is how it started for me yesterday, right? Everything was good. We were having a good day yesterday, watching football, and I'm new to the game. This is like my second, third year. I was really never into it, but my wife got me into it. She's into it. So, hey, what do? Sit outside, barbecue, and we started watching the game, right? From the first game to the second game, and then lo and behold, right on the second game, we start getting. She got this report on her phone. She goes, "Hey, man, it looks like there was an assassination attempt or something." And we were thinking maybe it was from the first one, right? They're still talking about it, right? I'm like, well, maybe they were still talking about it. So we continued on watching the game. Nothing else popped up in our feeds anywhere, nothing. And I'm a Twitter guy, all kinds of different social media platforms that I'm out there on, and I watch and just make sure that what's going on. Lo and behold, I said, you know what? Let me look deeper into this. So I went into the thing, to my phone. I started looking up news reports. Lo and behold, there it was. There was an attempted assassination on Trump, right? President Trump, the candidate, right? And I'm thinking, what? What the hell? Why? What's going on, man? And Then as the evening progressed, a couple hours later, I'm starting thinking, did they catch this guy? What happened? We didn't know anything. Nobody was putting anything out there. And I get it from these big news organizations, that they have to get it right before they put it out there because they don't want to be sued. I get it. And even today, even this morning, if you were watching all day today on the news of what happened, even with Dan Bongino and everything, everybody that was out there on different platforms, everywhere, news, CNN, everything, everybody was talking about what happened, right? So I do have there's an actual video of the apprehension of the suspect that was caught, right? And I'm going to show this to you right now, people in audio land. It's just going to be them actually apprehending the suspect. And when they got him out there in Florida, I'll get more into details here in a second. Just check out this really short snapshot real quick. Check it out.
2 steps to your right! Driver! Walk straight back! Keep walking!
I keep that long. We keep long
All right. So there is the actual footage of the apprehension from MSNBC. They put that out. They got the actual footage from the officers that apprehended the guy. Apparently what we're getting out of the whole story as the day progressed, that this guy was in the bushes, right? And right there by Mar-a-Lago, where the president was actually playing his golf game, right? Hey, he loves to do that. Everybody has their own deal of which direction they want to go. You know, and you have to have your day off. That's his day off. That's what he loves to do. People love to do different things. That's what he did, right? Lo and behold, luckily, the Secret Service were ahead of him on a different hole up ahead, and they were able to see the barrel of this weapon come out of the fence line, and that's what attracted them to that. And they were able to take a couple of shots, I guess a shot or two at the suspect, which he dropped everything, got in his vehicle, and took off, right? This is the story that they're getting out of. Now, Fox News actually put something out on it today as well. I'll throw that out for you guys so you can kind of see exactly what was said in the news, which was this morning, not from yesterday. We didn't find anything about this until this morning, right? So this is what they got out of it. I'm going to show you this to you real quick.
What is being investigated as a possible second attempted assassination of former President Trump at a golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. The Trump campaign releasing the statement just after 2 p.m. Eastern. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Good evening. I'm Molly Line. Eric, good to be with you.
Hello, Molly. I'm Eric Shawn. Thank you for joining us, folks, in this special edition, 2 hours of the Fox Report. It was a tragedy so narrowly averted this afternoon. A Secret Service agent on the advance team on the golf course, a few holes ahead of the former president as he played the Trump International Golf Course. He was in the 5th hole in West Palm Beach, Florida, while that agent spotted a muzzle of a weapon poking through a chain-link fence. The gunman secreted by bushes. That agent opening fire. The suspect now
in custody, right? What you just saw on the video I just put out here. Now, who is this suspect? Who is he? Ryan Wesley's what his name is. I'm sure there's pictures all over it. I didn't grab one today because I really don't like to show these people because the more you show these guys or whatever, it just kind of shows they start intensifying, their heads start getting bigger and bigger. And because then you start seeing more people that are wanting to do the same thing, right? And we don't glorify anything like that. We condone any kind of violence against anybody, presidential, non-presidential, any human being. We condone all that. We don't want anything to do with that. So, with that said, who was this guy, and why did he do this? Right? As I started getting the reporting from different news organizations last night, right? I started seeing that this guy apparently was a big Ukraine supporter, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, right? And that he was up and back and forth in that direction a couple of times. He was caught on an actual recent interview, and so he was putting himself in the spotlight as little by little we started finding out. We don't know if this is what made him go in that direction or not, to try to assassinate the president again. Here we go again. And what made him do this, right? They can't even say it's a lone wolf anymore, because they have a feeling that there's something a little darker or behind the scenes that's going on here, right? Because of the ties that he has in sort of like in different political venues or aspects of what he was doing, right? He was putting himself out in the spotlight little by little. How they didn't get wind of who this guy was or why he was going to do it, we don't know, right? But it's like, how do you know? Really, in reality, how do you know when somebody's going to do something stupid when they haven't done anything really illegal at all through their whole time, when they start getting into this kind of mentality? That how do you stop somebody like this? It's almost like you can't, right? So how did he know where to be, right? And I'm going to show you this picture here real quick where they actually caught him. And this is the area where the location where the gunman, where they apprehended him, right? What you saw in the video, it's not very far away, maybe a few miles, maybe 20 miles or more, where they caught him. There was only one way in and one way out, right? Which the good thing about this whole thing was that there was a person that saw him jump into that black SUV, and they gave the license plate number, the description of the guy, and what direction he was going, right? So the sheriff for the Florida area says, if we wouldn't have got that information, this guy would have flew past us, right? As they shut everything down, all the roads down, everything like that, right? So, and that's what he said. He goes, thank God for somebody saying something, because if they wouldn't have, it would have been a different situation we'd be talking about. We'd be looking for somebody right now. But they actually caught this guy like pretty freaking quick, right? Which is amazing thing to do. Now, I don't care who you are. I don't care what side you are, if it's for Kamala or Trump or anybody that's out there. This needs to stop. It needs to stop, because the last assassination attempt we knew about was when Reagan got shot, right? And then everything was hunky-dory after that, right? Now it's like 1, 2, and then what are we waiting for, the third one? Come on, man. This is getting ridiculous. So people need to get out of that mentality. And I don't care what side you're on. Don't go to violence, because that's not the answer, all right? It's just political, all right? It's not the end of your life. It's not the end of your world. It's just political, what's happening here. Of course, it is going to affect later, whoever you decide to vote for on the future of your next 4 years of life. That's how you got to look at it, right? But it's not the end of life. And there's no reason why you should go and do something like this. There's just... And what I was talking about before was, when I showed you that picture, was how is it that this guy knew where Trump was going to be, right? And this is what he left behind. He left behind a rifle, a bag, everything. I mean, he was ready. He was ready to do what he was going to do. AK-style rifle. Some ammo, I guess, was probably in those bags. I'm sure he was showcasing the place. And this is what they found at the scene, right? This guy was ready to do something, but luckily they stopped him before then. And my thing was great. I'm glad for the Secret Service that they were able to get this guy before he was able to do any kind of damage. But at the same time, was there any drones out there, right? I was questioning that. Why? I mean, even Dan Bongino says, man, we got technology today that we didn't have before when he was in the Secret Service with Obama and stuff. He goes, now we have drones. You can fly a drone. Look, man, I'm a drone operator myself, because I have a filming production. It's called Let's Productions. And with that, I drone. I have a drone with 2 batteries. These batteries last about 20 to 25 minutes, right? Let's just say you fly a drone. Of course, this is a Secret Service. They can have a drone operator, and they probably do, right? Did they have one out there that day? I don't know. Each battery can last about 20 to 25 minutes. Depends on the size of the drone, the size of the battery. It's just the longest I've ever seen a battery is maybe 30 minutes. So if they had 2 drones and one drone was going low on battery, all they got to do is send one out and bring one back, right? Same location, start scouting out, or have two drone operators when this is happening. Now, is it because of the importance of the person, right? Of why this is not implemented in that kind of security detail, right? And it's just looking that way. It's almost like politically motivated. And I'm going to tell you why. Some people have, of course, he's not the acting president. We get that. He's not going to get the full load of the Secret Service people that are going to sit there and protect him the whole way. That's not going to happen. He'll probably get about, I don't know, maybe 30, maybe a little less to protect him, right? And yeah, so that's what he gets. On the other hand, the Pope will get 100% detail of people to protect him. He is the only one in the world that'll get that kind of protection from the United States. They'll have almost everybody on that. Why? Because they say that most people in the world are Catholic, right? So they got to protect this guy like he's almost like, the highest person of interest, which is a Pope. Hey, everybody love that guy, right? Not a problem. President of the United States, maybe 90%. Candidates, maybe 80%, maybe 70%. This is the kind of protection that they get, right? So you got to look at it, why they don't give them that many people. Now, Trump is a person of, if you saw him out in public, you know who he was. Almost like Snoop Dogg or any person out there that has a face that he can go anywhere around the world and people will know who he is. So a person like that needs high security, right? They need it, man. So even if I was in Trump's shoes, if he could get a private security team in there, anytime he goes anywhere, get some people with drones out there, man, and just, that are part of your team, nobody else's, part of your team, anywhere you go out and do what you want. When you're going to go out and play golf, go out to these venues or just being out there in front of the public speaking crowd, right? You got to throw in the extra buck or two. Of course, he's got plenty of it, but he's a person of high interest, right? So is Kamala. I'm sure she's got a lot of detail out there watching her and protecting her, which it should be, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that I think that he's already got tried to hit twice already. And there's nothing that they're doing to step up the game. Now, I applaud the 2 officers that opened fire on this guy, and of the Secret Service. And I applaud them for that. Thank you for doing that, because you actually stopped and scared the living crap out of this guy where he tucked tail and ran, right? And what I was saying before, how did he know he was going to be there? Because from my understanding, when Trump goes and plays golf, it's not a week or 2 weeks in advance. I'm going to go play. Sometimes he just goes and plays. So how did he know? Right? Which gives you the implications that there's something dirty or fishy going on behind the scenes, right? A mole or some sort. There is a possibility that there's a different entity involved in here, right? Because what I understand, that this guy, Ryan Wesley, the shooter, which he did not get a shot off, thank God, was not from Florida. So he drove all the way over there to go do his bidding, right? And he wasn't able to accomplish what he was sent. This is how I see it. This is my personal views. Maybe sent for, right? So, and these are the questions that a lot of these people should be asking is how did he know? And we should all be asking that. And why, right? I'm going to take a real quick break. I'll be right back just a second. All right, guys. So, getting back to this, like I said, how did the suspect know where and what was happening, right? It's kind of hard to tell now, you know, once we have an investigation, and it's probably going to drag for a bit here, but we'll end up finding out exactly what happened. It'll come out later, but there was a reporter on the ground for Fox News. I forgot to throw this out for you today, and he was explaining exactly what happened. So I'm going to throw this small clip out for you. It's probably about 40 seconds long. All right, check this out.
Yeah, hey, Eric. Hey, Molly. We're told the suspect's name is Ryan Wesley Ruth, R-O-U-T-H. Not much more known about him at this time, except that he's the suspect currently in custody right now. Palm Beach Sheriff's Office says that he was taken into custody by the Martin County Sheriff's Office, just the county north of Palm Beach, was taken into custody after escaping the scene in his black SUV. According to the sheriff in Palm Beach, he did not make any sort of initial statement when he was taken into custody. They're expected to be releasing more details, a mugshot, whatnot later. But we're continuing to dig into who he is, who Ryan Ruth is, where he's.
All right. So, and where he was from. So this came out on USA Today. I'm just going to read this out to you real quick. It says an apparent botched assassination attempt targeting former President Donald Trump at his Florida golf course was fueling intensive investigation Monday into how an armed threat could again reach within a few hundred yards of Trump. 2 months after he was nearly killed in Pennsylvania, suspect Ryan Ruth, 58 years old, appeared in federal court Monday, being held on charges of possession of firearm and convicted felon possession of a firearm with a obliterated serial number. I got tongue twisted there. Anyway, so he's got a scratched out serial number on this rifle. What? You think? Yeah, I think this. They say this happened around 2 p.m. on Sunday, right? And like they said, he had an SKS style weapon, assault weapon, 2 bags, a digital camera, and some food. So he was planning on sitting there for a little while, right? This was this guy's intent. He had a GoPro, man. So he was going to film this whole thing and make himself look like a superstar later. He was probably going to throw it out there, right? Before he got caught, or he was going to take himself out. One of the two. But I don't think he was going to take himself out because he tucked his tail and ran, right? After they shot at him. And he left everything there and took off, right? That's a weasel, man. That's in my opinion, that's a weasel. So, and I'm glad they caught him, man. I'm glad they caught this guy. Because it could be either side, man. This could happen, and and it hasn't happened on the other side. Thankfully for them, and it hasn't, and it shouldn't. It should never happen on any side, really. In reality, we don't need this kind of violence, especially during this political game that's happening right now, right? Because we're going and looking for a president, right? There's candidates, they're running. We're ready to rock and roll in November to see what is going to happen in the next 4 years. And that's part of the political game, right? But don't use the political game against each other on any party, right? It should be fairness, unbiased, down the middle, and it make this, man. Why can't we just go back to that? back in the days where you just go vote, click the lever, bam, you're done. They got the number. We already knew who it was by midnight. We don't have to wait 2 or 3 days later. Everything was just so simplified, right? Now it's not anymore. It just makes things a lot more difficult. Got to count. Now we got to wait for these people. We got to wait for this other state. Now we got to, and it might take an extra day. And then now with technology, which is supposed to be faster, right? We're supposed to get to right then and there. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't make sense, does it? On either side, it doesn't make any sense, man. So, how do we fix this, man? That's the real question. How do we fix this as American people? I think we just need to stop preaching the hate so much on either party and the name calling, finger pointing. I get it. You got to do it during your debates and all that stuff. I know that. But some of these commercials, man, they go way out of hand where it makes you think of, these people are the devil. You know what I mean? And it just, I think they go a little too far on that, Can't keep it clean anymore. It's just they're looking for something dirty, so that way you can look at these people in a different way, And my thing is, research everything about any candidate, which is it's the left side, right side, in the middle, whoever's out there, even your local government, your mayor, anybody that's out there that's running, councilman. Go in and research them. Research everything about that person before you make a determination on exactly who you're voting for, right? And that is the right way to do it. Don't go by what somebody. You can't even go by what I say, right? You make your own determination by your research, by your wallet, by how much gas you put in, how much you're spending at the grocery store for your family. These are the factors to your determination of who you're going to vote for, whether it's a president, whether it's a senator, whether it's a governor, a city manager, anything like that, city councilman. These are the factors that you have to look at, right? And just do your research, really in reality. And let's just hope this never happens again. And me personally, I think Trump should just step back a little bit for his security and his safety reasons, and just do his functions behind glass. And as crazy as it looks, it's just the safest way to do it for right now, until anybody becomes president, him or Kamala, whoever it is. Make sure that these people are safe when they're running, from even today and in the near future, because this should not be happening at all to anybody. This violence should not be happening, right? And that's why I said at the beginning of this podcast, we can agree to disagree, shake hands, and walk away. We'll talk about it again tomorrow, right? And that's what it's about. You have to make sure your mentality is that way of thinking, right? All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's information. I know it's not enjoyable, but if you got a little bit of insights out of it, go look at your news stations and just figure out, see who's got it better. Do your research on what happened, and we'll find out in the near future if there's a mole. Mole. To see if there's a mole out there, right? Hey, I don't know. I don't get how this guy knew. How did he know? That's the big question, all right? All right, guys. Thank you for watching America's Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Desma. You can find me on all these audio podcasts on YouTube, Facebook. We're out there, too. We're on Apple Podcasts. Any podcast, the way you listen, Spotify, iHeartRadio, we are out there, and we are out there for you guys to give you as much information as we can on America's Podcast, on America, our freedoms, our civil liberties, because we are the people, right? We are what makes it count, right? All of us as a whole, right? Think about it that way, right? We all need to work together, stick together, be patriots, love your flag, love your country, love everything about this beautiful country, and let's make it the best that we can, right? All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Click on all my links on the description down there. You'll see everything on America's Podcast. Check out our merch store. We'll see you soon. Hey, we're probably going to have some coffee soon. All right.